Man, I got Tommy here already busting my chops for being a minute late. What's happening, Spray Wash Academy? Doug will be along here shortly. I'm actually looking at him on the back side of the studio through my view, and he's on the phone with, I believe, one of his tenants with some of his rental property he bought. Hope everybody's having an awesome Monday. See, we are already at October 11th, so amazing how fast this time of the year starts going. I'm, shocked, absolutely shocked. What's happening, Wild West? Hope you're doing well. This is truly to me the fun time of the year right now. We're going to be in here at Halloween, which ushers in the absolutely, the wonderful holiday seasons, and hell, before we know it, we're less than 100 away from Christmas at this point. So I'm excited. Love this time of year, and it finally cools off just a little bit here in North Florida. It wasn't as humid as Satan's armpit today, so that was kind of nice. Rusty, I assume that LV is Las Vegas. Hope you're having a good time out there. Got another good evening from a Facebook user. No idea. The StreamYard is just such an absolute pain sometimes. Doug's back. Hello, Doug.
Doug's pulling his hair out. That's weird. Yeah. Anyhow,
so you were talking to a tenant with regarding a tenant of yours from a building that you bought with your selling your business proceeds, right?
Yeah, and so somehow, accidentally, the well pump pipe broke. All of a sudden it somehow broke. Yeah. Okay.
Fun.
And then they want me to get a plumber out there because I'm like, first of all, the tenant agreement makes it their responsibility to fix that, not mine. But yeah.
Did you do a triple net on that lease, or?
Pretty much. They're on a month-to-month lease on the deal because they're here for the storm.
Right.
And it's one of them things. And so yeah.
Got a good crowd tonight, Gary.
I told him to send me some pictures, and I'll see if I can't figure it out to help him out. But anyhow,
Flip, and that's a big thing with us looking for our new power wash store location. It's been real interesting seeing the different, because you've got your modified gross where the landlord takes care of a lot of the stuff, and then you've got your triple net, right, which whenever they say something is going to be $22 a foot, then you got to add the triple net fee on top of that. Yep. I've seen some triple net fees of $6-7 a foot on top of stuff, which I looked at a Tire Kingdom the other day on Appalachia Parkway. They want, it was, in a Tire Kingdom, it was a 6-bay Tire Kingdom with a showroom. It'd be a good power wash store. I'd have to close in a couple of the bays and make conference rooms out of it. $14,000 a month.
Chicken change.
Jeez. I mean, I don't sell that many pressure washers, so that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
We got Rocket City, Dave. What's happening?
It actually falls in line a little bit with what we're talking about, as far as for, running $1 million cleaning business, is that, you've got to look at all of the costs involved, including if you're going to lease a building, what kind of lease are you going to get into? Because like my lease is very simply that they have to pay for basically everything. I take care of taxes, and that's it. And so, whether they like it or not, that's what it is. We cracked 1 million this year in 3.3 trucks, 7 on payroll, an average ticket of $859. Our projected revenue as of now is 1.15 for the year. Lots of 7 days, sleepless nights, and learning how to cast vision to a team to get here, though. We brought on our first investment property this year, or we bought our first investment property this year, car wash, go figure. Lots of luck. Listen to Raymond Burke. He knows his stuff. I changed it. CRM. Too bad that's a Facebook user. I'd love to know who that is. Or do you know who that is?
If you know who that is, because we literally see Facebook user on here, just type a name, and I love stories like that,
That's
you know,
awesome.
and I just absolutely do it. And I'd say those numbers were real similar to, you know, what we did whenever we sold.
Mhm.
And in fact, one of the things I was telling Doug, we're going to go through my QuickBooks through January, December 2019 and 18. I can see you, Tommy, showing up as Chicagoland. I got Mickey, Michael, Wade is in here. So many. Papa Puff.
And,
Right
and
down the
Mr.
road.
Jacob Deal.
And Jacob, he got enough for the upgrade on the Happy Meal last week. So I'm going to go through the numbers on mine from 2018 to 2019, so y'all can see what we did. I'm not going from 20 to 21 because I have sold my business. I have some confidentiality issues there, so I don't think it's right for me to do that. In fact, it might not even be not right, but very likely could be not legal.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get into 20 and 21 out there. I will tell you all this: 20 and 21, 20 and 21 were better. Have been better than 19 and 18. But I do want to, you know, just show you guys some of the stuff. And before we get into it, just want to do some of the talking here, because, you know, we see these insane, crazy numbers. And then at the end of the thing, Doug and I did a class back in, this would have been in Branson in 2019.
Yeah, 2019 was Branson.
Branson, and on the show, we had a tragedy. We had to leave Branson early, didn't get to fully do the class, but it even talks about the $100,000 method. I mean, again, that's another benchmark that a lot of people have in this industry. And it's like, I want to make $100,000. So let's look actually at what it takes to make $100,000 as well, because hey, that's where we need to start before we go off to $1 million. It is $100,000.
Andy's in the house. Hey, Andy.
Hey, Andy, what's happening? And
I feel so bad about Andy, because when I was up at the power wash store in Pennsylvania, and I still apologize for that, Andy. I saw him, my mind was somewhere else. I don't think I really said hi, and I feel so guilty about that. And then we happened to be talking later on, and I'm like, man, did I see you there? I am so sorry. So I'm really, really sorry, Andy.
But, you know, I want to first off, I want to go and dispel the myth that don't let anybody tell you can't do whatever you want to do in this business, because I guarantee you absolutely can. If somebody as dumb as me can do it, anybody can do it, because I'm really not that smart of a guy.
I can verify.
What's that? Are you agreeing?
Nothing, dear. I gotta tell you, I feel the same way. I mean, it's like I'm not. I mean, I'm good at sales. I'm good at this. I'm good at that. I'm you know, but I'm not super smart. I'm just not. Right. And to be able to run, you know, this size of a business is a good thing. I mean, I think if we can do it, anybody can do it, as long as you I think you got to have a certain mindset, and you have to have a you have to Goya, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know something else too, the higher numbers, and as somebody pointed out on the promo post for this, I think it was Gerald Vest, it's not what you make, it's what you keep. 100%. I mean, and there's so much to be said for that too, because a lot of it has to deal with, you know, first off, the higher the risk, the higher reward it should be. And also at every step, if you're keeping, I remember whenever I was doing 200,000, I mean, I was keeping 60 to 70% of that. I don't know anybody who's at that $1 million level that's keeping more than 30% of it, you know, and each couple of 100,000, let's say there's a level of that, you know, 200,000, and then maybe 500,000 would be the next level, and then 750 would be a level, and then 1 million would be a level. So we're kind of breaking it at 250, levels on there.
And I think that's about right, though. Right at those 250 marks is really about where things really change. One truck can do 250, but it's kind of you're pushing your limits at that 250. Two trucks can do 500, but you're really pushing to do that.
Right.
If you had that third truck in there, 500 would be a lot easier to do. And then going up to the 750, I think you need about 4 trucks out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, three. I do.
You can do it with 3, you can do that with 3, but what we used to always do is have a 4th truck as a backup on there. And really, when we got to that, that $1 million, we were running the crap out of 3 trucks. And then we had one as a backup, just in case something went down, and you're working these trucks so hard and so fast and all that. Yeah. You've got to have that. But, some of the things that you think, as you scale, there's going to be more waste. As you scale, there's going to be more expenses that you won't have at that $100,000 level, at that 250, at that 500. Every time you go up a notch, there's going to be more waste in there. So again, we talk about scaling. We talk about, building and scaling a business, but understand the scaling does not necessarily become an even. It's not just a curve, like, a straight shot going up like that. You're going to have some expenses that will go up. I just promise you.
Well, one of the things that I seem to get asked a lot or talked about a lot, when people are talking about like the booster pumps and all that, and, how often do you rebuild a booster pump? And when I say I rarely ever rebuild a pump, I just buy a new one.
Yeah.
And I get that, man, well, why would you do that? Because time is money, effort. That's my personal thing that, I have extra pumps on the shelf ready to go at any given point in time. The truck comes in, it's got a pump issue. That pump comes out, gets thrown away. I get another one out there, that way I always have a good up and running truck, because when you're turning those dollars and you need, you can't, downtime is detrimental to your bottom line, and always trying to fix stuff is not.
And in fact, we got when we would get a booster pump in, first thing we would do is go and put a union on the end and the top of the booster pump, a PVC union. And then on our trucks, we had PVC union. So we knew that when the inevitable swap out came, it's literally unscrewing a union here, unscrewing a union here, slap it on, choom, choom, and it was good. And I don't know what the right answer to the pump is. So, I went to Pat Clark's, shop, had the pleasure of going up and hanging out with him about 3 years ago. And I'm literally looking at crates, just milk crates full of old 12-volt pumps. Mm-hmm. And, I've never heard Pat Clark sit there and fuss about having to replace 12-volt pumps. It is what it is. You keep a working pump. I mean, I see somebody on here saying, Dave Yensen said, he went through 2 boosters and 3 volts. He's over the damn thing. A lot of guys say that. I love a booster still, and I just recently switched to air. I hate air, but it's what the company, that we work with uses. And, one of my trucks has a booster and 2 of them have air now. I hate the air.
I don't think I could get used to that at all. I mean, I guess from the application standpoint, air is probably great. But then when you get into the rinse cycle of it, there's just no way that air could even keep up. I mean, you'd have to have such a massive air volume and tank and air. It's just, there's no way. I wouldn't want to do that.
Pat's saying they're averaging.
Or you got to drag 2 hoses, and I hate dragging 2 hoses.
Yeah, I mean, and I love the 320 per truck. That's awesome, Pat. That's congratulations, buddy. That is fantastic.
I don't even know how you manage 320 per truck. I mean, man, 250 really is topping out for what we could do on a singular truck. But again, raising your prices we say it all the time, and people are probably tired of hearing, but it's true. You need to raise your prices half the time, especially some of these guys that are just so busy they can't keep up.
Yep.
You should consider raising your prices, especially if you don't want to grow your business higher. If you don't want to have 1,000 employees and all that, maybe you just, if you want to say a one truck operation, you bring it down to where you raise your prices and you keep a select group of customers. That's it.
I'm going to write this down that Ryan, I'm not ready to get into this yet, but you know, Ryan had said, talk about growth and the repercussions of employee turnover. I can speak to that expertly because I had
Yeah.
3/5 of my workforce quit this year whenever I sold. And newsflash, didn't hurt me. And in fact, I mean, I did a post on about ripping a Band-Aid off for cancer, and you don't negotiate with cancer. You get rid of cancer. And whenever you get employees that have become cancerous, cut that shit out. You know what? It hurts to have it cut out. You're a lot better whenever it's gone. But let me write this down or I will forget. So grow.
I had a couple of notes here.
And
you were writing that down and I took it away. Sorry about that.
Of turnover. Got it. Okay, I got that down. So we will talk about that. One truck, two rigs got close to 250K in 2019, lost momentum, changed gears, whole plan changed since then. Getting back on even keel now and rocking. Good.
That's
good,
awesome,
good. You know, and I bet you could bump that up at this point, you know, with the two rigs, if you got those, you know, you really could. Because I firmly believe, in fact, in that graphic, I think I said, you know, you can do, in fact, they'll even show, hold on one second.
And Pat, I haven't had a chance to look that thing over, boss. I've been busy.
Oh, no. It's all good. But I mean, I want to say I even had a graphic on here, what I'd say, because we had done some industry surveys. Reasonably expect to make per rig 175, 275 tends to be that industry average, you know, out there that we're seeing. So,
and that was from that industry survey that we did.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Turnover is a big problem with us. And guess what? Turnover is turnover. You know, I mean, it is. And welcome to it. I had a guy who had been with me for 7 years leave this year, you know.
But see, that's not high turnover. 7 years, a guy being there, you know, that's not a high, you know, that, you know, I think for some of these guys, if they have a high turnover, because I don't think you had a high turnover. I don't have a high turnover.
Oh, I mean, I also went through 6 other people in probably 7 months with that, you know, with that as well, too. You know, it is, you know, it is what it is. I mean, and that's part of life. That's absolutely part of life on here, the turnover and working in the business. I mean, they say that, you know, a service employee is typically good for about 5 years. So I was on borrowed time with the one guy that was with me for 7 to 8 years already.
Right.
I mean, he was just, you know, it is what it is. RPC saying he has the same guy for 7 years. That's amazing.
15 years, not 7. How'd you read 7 out of that?
Same guys for 15 years.
Yeah.
RPC. I have no idea what this Wendling just hires anyone that throws a truck and nukes houses. You know, I don't know what that's regarding, and I don't know. Precision Pro. Oh, cool. Congratulations. So you're one of Pat's guys. Very nice. Very, very
That's
nice.
awesome.
I know Pat's growing his thing. So record is 16 months with an employee. You know, and
I hate to laugh. I'm not laughing, but
I mean, it's just, you know, it's rough. It's tough. It's very, very hard.
Well, first of all, you're dealing with a different mindset to begin with. You know, the mindset of an employee is different than the mindset of an owner. And currently, I am an employee, and I see my mindset I'm trying to shift out of owner mode, but stay in owner mode, and you know, trying to. But I see what other employees are and how their mindset is, and you know, it's just that the mindset of somebody that is an owner or an entrepreneur is just different than somebody that's an employee. So, and you need both sets. You need somebody that has the mindset of an employee, and you need the entrepreneur, you guys, to be able to start and run that business.
I would say, and Jim just may ask this question, how does employee wage change between having a new business versus 1 million per year? I would say at the 1 million per year, I am paying my guys obscene amounts of money because I don't want to lose them. I'm scared of losing them, but I tell you, with a lot of this, especially the millennial types, money doesn't really matter as much to them. The culture does. But when I first started, I was literally writing the check out every week for my payroll. At that point, I was $12, $13 an hour to guys and stroking them in a bonus here and there. I wasn't, I had guys that were making $22, $23 an hour whenever I wound up, selling my company. My guys now with the new company are actually averaging about $25, to $30 an hour. With this, but they have a little bit different pay structure on there. But the larger, the bigger we got, the more I would say that I paid my newer guys obviously a lot less, but my older guys, I would always pay them more than they were worth because I was scared of them leaving.
And that's something that I think we all run into. You get to a point where you operate a little bit on fear. You fear them leaving, but as Ray found out, you can't let that fear overtake you, number one. And when he realized that his, a couple of his guys were acting like cancer within his company, hey, you got to cut that cancer out and you'll survive it. Yeah. And, I'm the same way. I mean, I ran off of fear sometimes, and I probably will again in the future, but you can't allow the fear to overtake you. And sometimes you just have to cut your losses and go. And I've done it before in business where, an employee is like, well, you need me, you have to have me. And I'll be like, you know what? Why don't you take a couple of days off, come back and think about it. Yeah. And they'll be like, what? Yeah, I need to prove to you that I don't need you as much as you think you do, but I do want you. Okay. I just don't want the attitude that you've got. So dude, look, I really, really want you, but I can get somebody else, and this is proof.
I understand you're not irreplaceable, and it took me a few guys, to on hiring with the new company. It took me a few different ones to find here with the new stuff. I mean, so many good comments coming in, and we'll get to those in a minute. It took me, a little bit to find these decent ones, but if they leave tomorrow, they leave tomorrow, and the company is not about. The employees are so important to the company, but understand who is your company, not necessarily your employees, because you've developed your employees, you've developed their maybe not their work ethic, but their customer service. It's your name on it. So you're the person that started it. You're the person that found it. You can, by God, go out there and duplicate that again. Now, that's not saying carte blanche to be an asshole to these people. Right. You should treat them like family. You should treat them like gold. Because
they're 100% respect on
tons of money, but don't ever be held hostage by them. I went in, what was it, Doug? Was it June of this year? Whenever the guys, hauled on me, June was 100 and just over $100,000 a month for me, and. That could have been
and hitting your first $100,000 a month is awesome.
And it was me, Taylor, and Justin is who I had. I had me and two guys, and we got it done. I didn't sleep a lot. I didn't get anything, and hell, I didn't even make the money from it because it wasn't my company anymore. But by God, we're gonna get the job done. But again, don't ever be. And I remember making a video a couple of years ago, because I used to always say, get off the truck, get off the truck, get off the truck. I still think too, but I made a video a couple of years ago that said, get back on the truck. And don't ever lose the knowledge of cleaning. Don't ever lose the ability to go out there and clean. Don't ever be afraid to pick up a wand and say, yeah, boys, I got this, because sometimes you might need to be called to do it. Let me look at some of these comments. Ray, hello. Work ethic starts at home. Absolutely. MTH. Young people coming down the pipeline have no shame calling off, quitting before shift. These decisions follow you. Dave brings an important point here. Especially the guys up north, being able to keep employees through the winter, so work 9 months out of the year is scary. It is. And I've heard some of the guys up north that will actually, kind of like what they do to teachers. If you're a teacher, you're making, let's say, $50,000 a year. But they'll take that salary and divide it out over. And so you wind up being a bit of a holding company for them, but you offer them to pay them throughout the year. So you're paying them the months that you're actually shut down, the 3 months. Talk to an accountant, talk to a CPA, make sure that's legal in your area, but you can do that. Let's say if they're getting paid $20 an hour and you're going to hold back a quarter of it to extend their payout. It happens with teachers all the time. So, a lot of teachers don't just not get a check. And it's real easy to do if you're paying somebody on salary. They don't just not get a check for the months of June, July, and August, And
I think that would be a lot easier nowadays than it would have been when we were younger. And what I mean by that is, I think nowadays that a lot of the people, the youth, the millennials, they want that time off. I mean, the average employee lifespan that I find with most millennials was about 1 year. And so, if they can have that 3 months off, they're not, I find that a lot of the millennials, the money doesn't mean as much as like the culture, like we've been talking about. So if you have something where you maybe pay them a little bit less, but if they're there throughout the entire year, they get that 2 months or 3 months or whatever, paid, maybe at a reduced rate, maybe not at a reduced rate, whatever, as part of it. So maybe during the year, they're only making 15, 16 bucks an hour, but you're bank piling the other, say, $3 or $4 an hour to be able to pay them for that time off.
And Ryan McGowan saying, please review FSLA overtime exemptions for blue-collar workers. And that's exactly why I qualified my quotes with check with your CPA, check with your accountant, because I'm never going to give information that I don't know the freaking answer to, but I know that you can with salaried people. And I don't think it matters if they're blue-collar or not. Overtime, obviously, you've got an issue with, but check to see the legalities of it, in your area. Jim Gamble, 25 years ago, we had 20 part-timers, so many issues. Now they fly contractors in for the job. I saw, Dave was on here earlier, and he's flown guys in to do roofs for him.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that at all. And good quality workers are good quality workers.
Absolutely.
Ryan,
and worth their pay.
Love his pizza on Fridays. 100%. Epoxy flooring, so keep guys through the winter to pressure wash next year. Yep.
There's actually a lot of side businesses that you can do in the winter. I mean, the one that Ray absolutely loves. What was that was your second favorite thing to do in the world? Man. Ray loves hood cleaning. So
oh my God,
that's something that you could do during the winter months that actually could continue on throughout with it'd be a good time to start a hood cleaning aspect.
It would be. The problem is most busy restaurants, the nasty places, wind up needing to be cleaned more than once a year just in the winter months. We were a victim of our own success with the hood cleaning. And next thing you know, I was running hood cleaning crews. And God, I hated that business. I hate it. So then we thought, well, hell, we'll do Christmas lights as well. I don't like Christmas lights. Yeah. Jim Brown said he's picking up storefront window cleaning jobs for the winter. Steady work all year. Picked up 4 more monthly jobs. Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Brian Paris keeps, he's told me before about, getting into window cleaning or not window cleaning.
Christmas lights, and so many others have, and it's not in me to do that. Hurricane policy, 80% of your average check, as we all know, that could be weeks or months. Absolutely, hurricane, that's something we deal with down south that you guys don't deal with up north, typically speaking.
We're in the middle of hurricane cleanup right now still.
Yeah. Your guys respect you because you go out and work with them in the same way. Absolutely, 100% RPC. You do go out and you work with them. You never ask your guys to do something that you would not do. 100%, you know, and my guys have come in and I'm a lot better about it now because it's not my job anymore. I mean, I'm a consultant for this company, and I'll probably be transitioning into a trainer because we're finding out that our guys are actually like 30% more efficient than some of their guys. And they're like, hey, come on over here and show us that little bit of magic. So, but you know, my guys would come in lots of times, you know, and I'm dragging butt in here at 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, yeah, you know, I pulled an all-night shift. I took that off the calendar because it was getting backlogged. And they're like, oh my God, you know, you went, yeah, I did, you know, because that's what I do.
That's it.
Yeah, Tommy's got it figured out. 10 jobs for $100,000 and there's your $1 million company. It's not impossible. And ironically, it's not because
it's just going to say it's entirely possible.
Dave Nazat just said, hey, he's just finished up what a 4-week $86,000 job.
4-week $86,000, I think is what he said. Yeah.
John Sacco, what's happening? Storefronts, yeah. 4 times 1, nice, you know.
I'm waiting on those those people to send me pictures of what it is that's broken out there.
I tell you what, the John will show us how to make 1 million pesos. You know, and I remember on the hood cleaning too. Fastest section of my business I have ever run up to $150,000. I mean, it seemed like overnight, boom. I mean, we were a $150,000 hood cleaning company because everybody either needs a hood cleaner or hates their current hood cleaner. I mean, it's really a pretty easy, you know, sector of business to get into. So
I have a feeling that bottom Facebook user is going to be Scott. It's got to be, right?
Why is it somebody who's doing like $1 billion or something?
No, he's saying, hey, ladies. It's got to be Scott.
Fish farms are great.
Yeah, that's Scott. Yeah, there he is.
BB, what's happening?
He's hiding himself.
Sixto, I hadn't seen you. You were around.
Yeah,
nice
wow.
to see you, buddy. That's right. You know, Jeremy said let's walk around. I've been trying to figure out if I want like the whole like gigolo look right here. But it's a little too much on there, so I kept it buttoned up a little bit. You know.
Yeah, we weren't all that thrilled with the live session with you and TJ and the shirtless stuff and the pool.
Oh, Lordy.
You know, if you'd have been wearing yellow boots, it would have been different, but you weren't. So, you know.
Duck cleaning in the winter up north. Somebody else saying Christmas lights are great, 150 to 200,000. And, you know, I didn't like the Christmas lights, and it was really, but, you know, it is, some people absolutely love it. I did not enjoy it, and I also did not do it right. Yeah. But there's a lot of people that make good money on Christmas lights. I screwed it up.
So look, going back up a little bit, where is it? I don't see it now. Not the hood cleaning. That's not what I'm trying to do. Dang it, I can't find it. Dryer vent cleaning. Look, in the wintertime, I think there are several guys who make a pretty good living on just doing like retirement centers and doing apartment complexes, stuff like that, just doing dryer vent cleaning. I would have never thought you could make $1 million a year doing dryer vent cleaning, but it's possible.
So Ryan said, how realistic is short-term exponential growth? 5+ rigs in 4 seasons.
I think it's very realistic.
I think it's realistic, but am I locking off? Did I just lock up? Nope, there we go.
You did.
Okay. I think it's realistic, but I think you also have to be realistic about it. I mean, are we saying starting from ground zero and getting 5 rigs in 4 seasons? You know,
I think it's entirely possible. I think
it's very possible. It would scare the crap out of me, but it's very, very. I mean, I was up to 2 rigs in 4 seasons. Yeah, you can do it. I mean, it's just.
Well, what market are you in though, too, Ryan? Because I think that's another thing.
Yeah, true.
if you're in a smaller market, like my market, I mean, that would be very realistic to be able to do. Even as a new startup, I think you could do that very realistically, even with the climate that we have with a lot of washers out there. I mean, Ray and I, we were talking about this a little bit ago, where one of the things I hear a lot is guys calling me up and saying, man, I mean, how do I do it? I'm stuck. Man, I'm so busy. I can't even run my estimates. I can't do this. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. But they're allowing the fear to stop them from growing. They say they want to grow, but and I got one person in particular, well, two, I guess, really, that I'm pointing at you saying, man, you gotta let go of that fear a little bit. And if you really, really want to grow, you need to let go a little bit. You need to bring somebody else on. You need to train somebody. Maybe you make a little bit less, but I think 5 rigs in 4 seasons. I do think that's a realistic goal. You just got to be aggressive at it.
That's true.
And you got to get off the
truck. Must be Scott right there. Three in 1 year had 3 trucks. Yeah. And you also had a great source of business coming in there as well. I mean, so it worked out really nice. Hold on 1 second. There's somebody. Somebody's asking me questions there, and I can't answer that right now. I'm so sorry. I'm busy. I'm busy here. And Jeremy's right. Fear and letting go.
I was going to highlight that one, but you look like
you want to grow. You absolutely have to. And you have to realize, remember, time is a great equalizer. And I don't care if you're black, white, red, yellow, if you're a woman, you're a man, whatever. You're gay, you're straight, blah, blah, blah. The one thing that we all share in common that is the greatest equalizer is time. We all have 24 hours a day. We all have 7 days a week. And unless you use force multipliers, you're going to be stuck at that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I mean, that's why we go from 1 truck to 2 trucks, from 2 trucks to 3 trucks. I mean, because if I sit there and said, oh, I'm going to do $1 million off of 1 truck, chances are you're not, I mean, I'll never say never, because who knows?
Yeah. I mean, is something possible? Yeah. Is it probable? No. I mean,
yeah. And Luke is saying right here, and I just went on vacation with one of my closest friends in the world. He's the same way. No desire to grow, made himself a really good paying job with almost no headaches. And that's how TJ is. TJ just does what TJ wants to do. Grace comes out and helps him sometimes. He doesn't have employees. Bam, he's happy,
I've often thought that same thing. I almost wish I hadn't grown my company. I mean, I enjoyed it, but at the same time, my profit margins, my headaches, my hassle, a lot of that. Now, I could have brought different systems in. I could have made things different for me, and I could have grown the company even bigger and bigger. I just didn't personally want that, and so that was part of my issue, is just not the want and desire. And I'm hoping that the guy that bought Cajun Soft Wash does have that want and desire to push it and take it to that next level.
So back to employee issues, employee menus. Do you live and buy them? Larger you get? Yes. The larger you get, you absolutely do live and die by them. You live and die by your systems. How important were they to your business, and how closely did you follow them? The bigger I got, the more I followed them.
Absolutely.
And with our new company, I'll tell you what, there's some inexcusable things on there that boy, those things that, like, you don't get paid if you don't fill out your reports, and all your reports are electronics, you're not getting paid for a job. It's really just that simple, and they want some accountability. They want a truck signed off on. There's like 5 or 6 reports my team leaders have to do before they can do it. They have to sign off and do a walk run around the truck and actually go and put a signature. Yes, this truck is in functional condition.
That's one of the things. The company that I hired on with, they're going to do. I don't think I'm allowed to share their numbers, but believe me, it's a lot. It's a lot. they're going to do a lot of money this year. And they have some very specific systems in place and some very specific things that they do. And, you know, when you get to a certain point, I don't think that you can operate a business that's doing that much volume and that much dollars in jobs without having systems in place, without just completely trying everything out. You have to have a training system. You have to have ways. You have to have the truck system. You have to have all these different things have to be, you should not have to, you should, if you're into that hyper growth, have those systems in place.
Absolutely.
Systems oil the machine. That's right, Ryan.
All work just to see the differences. Ryan, SAPs are crucial. Jeremy, if you want to grow, you must be always dealing with the human element. Yeah, and that's the one thing that's the one element about this that we actually have no control over. About the only control we have over the human element is with the SOPs, is with the reports and the systems, because if the human element can't follow those systems, then it won't be a human element with your company.
Right.
So you can't deal with the human element, but at the same time, you can deal with the human element.
You have to deal with the human element side of it. You have to. You can't get away with business and life without dealing with the human element of it.
Absolutely. Doug, I'm going to flip over here and let's do this. I want to get into this. Hell, we're already 45 minutes into this joker.
Yep.
And I want to just run through some of these numbers and play. And like I said, if you've joined us, a little bit later here, I'm not doing, just because of some confidentiality issues, I'm not doing my last 2 years or last year and a half in here since my company was purchased. But I was just going to show you like some of the things. Your browser seems to be zoomed. Now let me bounce in here at this. So I'm going in here at 2019 versus 2018. So our total income, January to December 2019, 964. The year prior to that, we were 784 on there, 785 really, $20 away from it. Chemicals, we use 45,000 in chemicals. Fuel, almost $16,000. Subcontractors, we paid out 15,000. Supplies, 19,000. So the cost of the goods sold, the actual equipment, spent almost 100,000 in that. So leading us to a gross profit of 868 on there. Now on wages, 250, officer wages, 100, 103. And then here's the other little things that people, don't, that start, whacking you on here that they don't think about. Payroll processing fees, 7,000. Payroll taxes, 30,000 on there. Moving on down the list. So that's now bringing up. So we were right at $400,000 in payroll on there.
That's right about where I think very close to where I was at.
Yep. So workers' comp, we were now $23,000 in workers' comp. Postage, I know it sounds funny. Mail, yeah, we actually had, $400 in advertising. I was $24,000 in advertising, $39,000 in automobile, 15 in office, professional fees. I actually have no idea what that is.
That could be anything from a plumber coming out to do something, a AC guy coming out to do something, the lawyer taking care of stuff. I mean, any number of things can fall under that aspect.
Okay, Liz, my lawyer, Madigan Law Firm, and my accountant, bookkeeping there. So yeah. So that's what that was. Okay. Continuing conferences, $1,600 there. And it's great because in 2018, we just forgot to code that, because I guarantee you that I had
Way more.
I went to, Lord knows I go to conferences every year.
Mm-hmm.
Travel expenses, 24,000, probably got lumped into there, with the conferences and conventions. And that also could be sending my guys on the road for work. Employee per diem, 91.55. We had a couple of big jobs, on the road along in there. Utilities. Hey, utilities are something to think about, for your shop. It's 5,000. We actually moved into a bigger shop at that point, and we're paying now $1,600 more for our utilities. Our rent expenses went up $2,000 a year. Equipment rental, $56,000, almost $57,000 in lifts and rental equipment. Meals, $16,000. Taxes, repairs, and maintenance, $5,700 in that. Health insurance. I mean, that was a big one. It's something we offered for our guys. $21,000 in health insurance on there.
Mm-hmm.
It actually kept a lot of guys around for a long time.
Yeah, even something like that, it can help just to retain the employees, because health insurance is a big thing.
So the insurance, and this does not include the workers' comp, but this is my liability and vehicular expenses, $17,000 in general liability, and vehicle expenses. Plus, we had $23,000 in workers' comp expenses. So our insurance liability on $1 million was over $40,000.
Mm-hmm.
Bank service charges, $636, merchant fees. So that's credit card fees right there. We spent $8,000 just in credit card fees. QuickBook payments fees, $1,500. Depreciation expense, $43,000. So, then we get down into here to the silly stuff, because, it shows you net income. So unfortunately, we weren't able to hide $60,000.
Yeah, that's always nice.
That sounds awful, but that's really what it boils down to if you think about it. Mm-hmm. We weren't able to hide $60,000 in court, because your goal is to make zero at your corporation. And you're taking your stuff as wages on there, because you're going to pay less on wages than you are on your corporate income tax on that.
Ray,
so,
did you happen to see that we were given a job offer?
What's that?
Did you see that we were given a job offer, you and I?
No, who wants to hire us?
Ryan McGowan.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
he's only hiring hunks.
Well, I'm about to be unemployed, so
there you go. I want to go back and answer this question too. Jim Brown says, at what revenue level is it best to build your brand versus growing your business? And I'm going to say, for me, I think it depends on what your goal is when you start your business. Okay. Because I think you should start your brand immediately if your goal is growth. And I think the two kind of go hand in hand. If you're looking to grow your business and you're looking to take it up to the highest notch that you could possibly take it to, whether that's $1 million a year or $2 million or $3 million, I think you should be working on your brand while you're taking care of your growth. That's how I see it.
Looking back on here at payroll expenses, so we were 400, on roughly $1 million a year, and I know, okay, well, Ray, it's not $1 million, it's only 964,000. Sue me. Yeah. So roughly $1 million in who knows, there might have been some folding money there.
What is that called? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on it. Discretionary earnings.
Yeah, discretionary earnings, exactly.
I guarantee the discretionary earnings probably took it over that.
Money just fell in my pocket. I don't know where it came from. But you're sitting there, and so you've got $400,000, in expand. This is what just will kick your ass as a small business out here, and you think, okay, I'm doing pretty good. So, but at 420,000, Oh, was that no? I'm sorry, 400,000.
While you're doing that, RPC, I'll tell you this. I mean, it's something that I actually showed the employees. So RPC says people don't look at that. They just need to talk numbers. There's a lot of money going out that the employees don't see. They think it's all profit. And I think that that's, if you're not showing employees that what your expense, I think you should show your employees what your numbers are, both in the sale and in the expenses. So if they see that, okay, their truck that they're running did $250,000, you know, and they walked away with 25 or 30 or 35 or 40,000 of that, you know, you put it into perspective as well and show them the numbers. I constantly made things like, hey, you know what? I'd pick up a roll of tape that was sitting in the water. And I'm like, you know, when I go and I buy this and I would stick them to the side and I would pile them up. And then I would say, look, this right here is all this junk tape that you guys threw away. That's $16 plus tax. Okay. And I'd show it to them. This is garbage money. So show them the expenses. And when the bleach would come in, I would make comments like, yep, there's another $2,500, you know, whatever those comments are. I share my expenses with the guys. I would even tell them, yeah, I mean, our workers' comp is X number of dollars. I mean, I would tell them, you know, this week's payroll was $8,000. I mean, I share those numbers because it helps them understand that it's not all profit.
Oh, look, there the bleach just came in. There's part of $45,000 a year right there in bleach. You know, I mean, it's crazy whenever you start doing that. But you know, I just add that up. So at 400,000, you're talking, you know, your average payroll, your average 2-week payroll is $15,000, $16,000 at that. And you're sitting there, you know, on a bank account of $50,000, but then you get strung out on a couple of decent sized jobs that aren't necessarily overly skippy about paying you. And, you know, you think, well, hell, I got $60,000, $70,000 in the operating account. I'm a baller at this point. And then you have a couple of payrolls pop out at $30,000 and you're, you know, or $15,000 payrolls. And you're like, oh crap, that cushion that I had just, you know, went down. So, and I would say like, who was it? Well, Justin said, when do you think a second truck is necessary? How would you justify buying it? I may be different from you on this, but I know there's one guy that used to say, Doug, and I know you and I both agreed on this. Oh, if you're booked out more than 7 days, get a second truck. Bull crap. Yeah. I totally disagree with what that guy said, and he was well known as a teacher. I think whenever you start consistently losing business, and good amounts of business where people aren't willing to wait. I can't wait, you know, 45 days to have my house washed, you know. And it's amazing how many people will wait for 30 or 45
Absolutely.
days. But whatever, and you just tell them, hey, you know, we appreciate it.
For me, I think if you're getting booked out and you're staying consistent at, you know, that 6-week mark, I think you should look at bringing on another truck. You know, at one point I was booked out 4 months, 4 months. And I looked at that and I said, Doug, you are the stupidest guy I've ever met in my life, right? I mean, these people are waiting for you because you've got great service and you've got you do great work and all this kind of stuff. So, I mean, I needed to bring on more trucks and make it happen because I didn't want to keep doing that to people. And that's where I say I could have just stayed right at that level and been probably extremely happy with it. Yeah. I'm happy with the growth of the company that I had. But what I'm saying is, for me, I think if you can get to staying 6 weeks consistently, you need to, first of all, you need to pull yourself off the truck. Not that you need to stay off the truck, but you need to focus on the growth of the business. If that's what you want to do and you want to grow that, then you either need to do one of two things. You either need to hire somebody to grow your business, or you need to get off the truck and grow it yourself. Yeah, I don't think you can realistically do both.
Yeah, it's going to be real tough to do both, honestly. Ryan McGowan.
He did it. He kind of runs the truck and
a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I'm that weird hybrid guy, but I mean, I was off the truck for a while, and I was not. I mean, for the last
But
7
you also have a partner in business.
True. I have a wonderful wife who's amazing. The and yeah, and I wasn't. I mean, for the last 7 years ago, I haven't been on a truck full time 100% of the time. I mean, I'm out, running estimates back and forth. I'm doing sales. I'm doing those things. So.
Not 100%.
I was more of the overflow guy, So I can discuss ways of compounding repeat clients you get at 3, 4, 5, keeping up with demand and growth strategies. Think, prepare for, look out for. How can a local competition affect the potential repeats? Well, first off, you don't have any compounding repeat clients unless you go out and make yourself, have those customers. Mm-hmm. So you should be able to deal with those pretty well, because as much as you may think you're amazing, an incredible person, they will not necessarily remember exactly who you are. So you're going to need to be in constant contact. You need to give them a call once a quarter, once every 6 months. You're going to need to do that, to stay in contact with them. The demand and growth strategies, you'll understand. You'll understand the demand for them. They'll tell you what the demand is, and that's where you've got to. And we typically, Doug, you're probably better at this because you did a maintenance plan with people. You want to speak to that for a second?
Yeah. First, Ryan, I want to say this. I want to go down to the bottom line there. It says also, how can local competition affect the potential repeats? Man, I hate this, and I hate this for a reason. Okay, and my reason is simply that I hate looking at competitors. I don't care about competitors. I don't. They're not there. Nobody is in competition with me other than me. And I think people need to stop looking at the other guy and being worried about the competition. How can local competition affect the potential repeats? It can't. If you're doing a super awesome job, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and are you going to lose customers? Certainly you're going to lose them. It's going to happen. And then you're going to pick up other customers. So worrying about the competition taking your customers from you, that should be the bottom of the list thing that you just don't worry about. That's how I see that. The repeat clients you get at years 3, 4, and 5, and keeping up with the demand and growth strategies, things to prepare for and look out for. I think the things to prepare for are, again, that goes back to the systems and the things that you're going to put in place to make sure that as you grow, it's not just you training those guys that you're bringing on board. You have to have some sort of system in place that's going to help you train not only the guys that are out there in the field, but also whoever's going to be answering your phones. And you should have scripts. You should have things that are going to help with that, to help prevent those other issues from coming up. Hope that makes sense for you, Ryan. Ryan goes on, says, outsource sales, outsource management, hire college hunks, keep triggers pulled always. But if that's what your goal is, just like he was saying, TJ's goal was not to do that. His goal is to be very happy by himself and go on vacations when he wants to and do what he wants to. And I like that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I dare say that I would conservatively say that Tanya and I lost $100,000 to $150,000 a year in business just from not following up to the people and not having time, not necessarily wanting to go and put a 5th truck out on the road, not wanting to grow anymore. Hell, it even happens now. I mean, I saw a church that I was at about a $25,000 bid on this church, and I noticed it had gotten cleaned the other day by someone else. And, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, some guy lower, did that. It could have been very well been higher, but it was a church that I had cleaned a lot of times over the years. But sadly enough, I mean, the bid request came in July, and I think that was about $150,000 a month. And I was running balls to the wall. I never had a chance to follow up with the people. So my bad for letting someone else get that. But again,
but at the end of the day, you can't even say that, right? Because think about this. They can absolutely love you, especially when you're dealing with churches. They can absolutely love Ray Burke. They can absolutely love Spray Wash exterior cleaning, but they have a mandate in their bylaws or whatever that they have to take. It's like government bids. You can't ever, oh man, I lost that, because government bids, they require them to take the lowest qualified bid. And what is qualified? I mean,
but you know what? The sad part is I don't even know, because I didn't follow up, and I didn't have time to follow up. And that's where I say that we lose $100,000 to $150,000 a year. Now, I don't believe the new company is going to do that. I think they'll actually have a salesperson in here that'll be following it up. But we have gone so absolute balls to the wall for the last 4 years that we've not had time to go and follow up with these guys and to go and keep doing that. And it is what it is,
And you said something very important there, that the new company is going to likely bring in a sales guy to do that. And why is it that they're going to do that? Because they're so much bigger than you are, so much bigger than I am, so much bigger than all of us on here put together, kind of a thing, right? So they must have something that they figured out that works correctly. And that's why I said too about hiring those other people like that person to go out and just do sales for you, especially if you suck at sales. If you want to grow, you have to look at these outside persons and personalities to help you take it to that next level.
I love what Tommy said right here. Oh my God, how amazing is that, and how true is that? Competition, the entire country is filthy with commercial and residential markets. There aren't enough of you to clean 20% of what needs to be cleaned. Tommy, you are absolutely right. And if there has ever been anything more true, keep this in mind whenever you start, you start complaining about the lowballing hacks and the stuff like that. Just go out and find more business. There's so much business out there.
It's out there. Drive down the street and go, man, I should do. Look at that. Man, I should do. Man, I should do. Man, I should do.
Yep.
And when I see one of those things that gets cleaned, it irks me a little bit, right? I'm like, somebody beat me to it. Good on them, right? And I respect that they beat me to it.
Mm-hmm. Dave, you're in competition with yourself. Absolutely. You are the only person you're in competition with. Who gives a crap what somebody else is charging? And it's aggravating if somebody's pulling down the market and stuff like that. Yeah, I get it. That is annoying as crap. Whenever a service you should be getting $300 for, they're charging $99 for it. Yeah, it's annoying as crap.
Different customer base. Don't care about that.
Change your customers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we've said it 1,000 times over that. I mean, you've got people that are only going to pay that $99, and people that are going to pay that $990, and people that are going to pay $9,990, and they're totally different class of customer. And I don't want the customer that wants to beat me up on price every time. And I would flat tell them right then and there, look, if we're just here over price, or are you really, are you seriously just looking for the lowest price? Yeah, I'm just really trying to get the best deal I can. Great. I think the best deal is having the best possible service you can get. But if that's not the way you feel, I'm really just not the right guy for you. But I appreciate your time, and I'll turn around and walk off. I don't care.
Exactly. 100%. Let me go back to my note. I had some notes over here, and let me check on that. So as you scale, there will be expenses that you won't have at 100. I may have already said this, but you won't have at 100 or 200 or even 500,000. So keep in mind, and y'all saw that P&L statement there. You're going to have expenses that you won't have. Your rent's going to go up. Your payroll's going to go up. You're going to wind up going, damn, I probably ought to get a $2 million policy instead of this $1 million policy.
Or even bumping up to a $5 million.
Yeah. When you scale, you're going to have more waste in your business. I promise you. Mark's saying it's getting past his bedtime. When you scale, there will be more waste. And also when you scale, you're going to become more of an administrator than you are a cleaner. Mm-hmm. Don't think anybody can tell you how your business goes from 100 to 1 million. Every market is different. Every person is different. Also, what is your risk potential on there?
And what is your comfort zone? What are you willing to do? What are you not willing to do? how often do you want to be off the couch? How often do you want to be on the couch? How often do you want to go on vacation? All these different things factor into where you really want to go in your business and where you want to grow your business to. Do
I
you want to
agree.
be able to walk away from your business for 6 months and it still continue to run, or is it something that hey, what, I can only afford to maybe walk away for like 2 weeks to go on vacation, but I don't book anything for that 2 weeks?
Right. Yep. And and that's again, that's one of the reasons that we say it's really hard for anybody to write a book or to do a class. And so that's one of the things you and I've done plenty of classes where we talk about growing business and developing business, but we've never had the audacity or the audacity or the hubris to go, you do this and you'll be successful, because you and I can't make other people successful. We can tell you what we've done. We can tell you what other people have done, but there's nothing we can do to sit there and say, promise you, if you do this, you're going to be successful, because you just can't,
Yeah. And I know there are several guys, and I'm sure you got the same thing, Ray, where I've had those phone calls of guys sitting there saying, you know what, man, I really appreciate it. You really helped me out. I couldn't have done this without you. I took my business from 0 to 250,000 the first year. I couldn't have done it without you. I couldn't have done it without you. And I call BS. You could have done it without us.
Absolutely, you could
we
have.
helped you get there. First of all, we give you advice, and then you have to follow that advice. And not only that, but sometimes our advice isn't right for you in your market. And so you have to look at that advice and say, okay, is it going to work? Is this the right thing for me and what I'm trying to do? And not just with Ray and I, but with anybody that's giving you advice or selling you information or creating something for you to buy or whatever. Look at it with open eyes and say, is this what I think is going to work for me and in my area and in my business? And at the end of the day, Ray and I didn't make these guys successful. They made themselves successful. They just used us as sounding boards a lot of times. I guess that'd be a great way to say it. And if you don't listen to the advice, I know somebody that will call me up and ask me for advice and will never, ever, ever listen to the advice that I give. I'm like, why do you keep calling me? I mean, guy, I'm tired of it, because he doesn't listen, right? And then he struggles with everything. And I'm like, but that's his choice. It's his right to do whatever he wants. And he's the keeper.
Let's see. Yeah, Jeremy just said, hey, there is no secret sauce. You're right. I mean, I still remember the video that I did years ago, and I said, hey, the magic bullet looks more like a freaking grinder than it does, a bullet itself. You just got to get out there and grind every day. So JRDLG5, having a hard time getting customers. I've gone door to door, post frequently on Facebook on my page, personal page, shared in many local groups. I've emailed realtors. Any other suggestions? Are you following up? I mean, it's a hard question. I don't know the market you're in. I don't know the marketing that you do. I don't know. It's a loaded question to try to ask us on this.
I'm going to go this direction. I'm going to answer it line by line. I'm having a hard time getting customers. Okay. I've gone door to door. I think door to door sucks. I mean, because it's a time suck, but it's a great way to build relationships with people and get singular jobs and that kind of thing. You can do stuff with that, but I personally don't do door to door because it's a time suck. And with Facebook and all that, I think I can do a better job, but I like the door to door. I like door hangers. I like, that kind of stuff, but I'm not, Ray and I will differ a little bit on this, because I think.
And I built my business on door hangers. I literally built my business on door hangers,
So, and then the next thing it says, post frequently on Facebook, on my page and personal page. Here's one of the problems that I see. I'm going to say the vast majority of the time. And all of us, we keep getting the same thing. Hey, come like my page. Come like my page. It does you no good to have Ray Burke and Doug Gore and Manuel Colmenares and I mean, all these other people. It does you no good to have us liking your page. You need to have local people like your page. You need to run something that helps people like your page. The other thing is, if you've got 200, 300 likes on your page and half of them are family, it's a no wonder that's not helping you grow your business at all. And then if you've emailed realtors, do you know how often email or realtors get emails? Every freaking day. That's not going to help you get your business. If you want to go with the realtors, go walk in their door. Go drop flyers in each of their boxes, that kind of thing.
Before and afters.
Sharing on your Facebook page, man, get more people to like your page. And there's lots of ways to do that.
And honestly, like the biggest segment of business I've had fall off this year has been realtors, because with the market going absolutely batshit crazy. I mean, it used to be 2 years ago, you had to wash a house before you put it on the market. Nowadays, they're getting 3 and 4 over market offers on there. My realtors, I've actually called, they've called me and said, Ray, I'm so sorry. I'm not getting it business to you, but the stuff's selling so fast, we don't even need them clean. And I'm like, guys, it's cool. I get it, and I laugh. And again, well, I'll sit there and say that I don't know what your marketing is. It's hard to sit here and say this, well, what's your marketing? Do this, because you could actually have really offensive marketing. And I'm not saying you do at all, JRD. But I've seen people that get very political on their Facebook page. I've seen people that, just get very vulgar on their Facebook page.
Ray, finish this sentence for me. You are what you
post. I literally saw a guy's ad the other day, and I apologize if they're watching this. No, actually, I don't apologize if they're watching it. But, somebody posted it. I think we put it in Spray Wash Pro, but it was a logo of Jesus with a weed whacker in one hand and a pressure washing wand in the other.
What was the deal with that? Is that somebody's logo?
That was somebody's logo. That was some guy's logo from the Villages. It was Jesus with a weed whacker and a pressure washing wand. It was singularly the worst company logo I have ever seen in my life. It was amazing. Waterworks is saying so, but and part of it's just keeping out there grinding, and don't let technology make you lazy. I mean, don't be afraid to talk to people and call those real estate agents. Get involved on Nextdoor. That's a great place. I know that Gene Neal, he gets a ton of business from Nextdoor. He gets out there and gets involved in discussions on there. Don't just post your business in there in Facebook groups. Be the guy that they can rely on and answer questions for them and things like that. I mean, it's if somebody ever has a cleaning question, get out there and answer that question for them.
Put your before and afters on there, but also post information that is good for them to know, tips and tricks of how they can do it themselves. I can't tell you how many times I've sat with customers and I'll tell them, there's a way that you can keep this clean yourself after we're done with it, or we can build a maintenance plan for you. Okay. And then I'll teach them, I'll talk to them, I'll tell them how to keep that area clean all by themselves. And some of them do it, and then they'll reuse us year after year after year because we help save them money. We help them do, and others are like, man, I did that twice. I ruined my pants, and I just rather have you come out and do it because I help them do it.
And he's living in a town of 50,000 people, and that is kind of a small town. But Jeremy Dent up there, he was in Jasper, little small town in Georgia. Went up there and visited him. And he had a very successful business for a few years. You can do it out there. I mean, but at the same time, don't sit there and expect that you're going to be doing $200,000-$300,000 a year because whatever. It's going to be kind of tough right there.
Before I answer this one, I want to go up back up here. So this one, he's saying, so I just post before and afters only on my page, nothing else. You should post more than that. Also, it says always post to all my local groups every day. That might be part of your problem. I'm currently running automated ads of before and afters. If you're posting in the local groups every single day, I mean, it's good to do, but I guess it depends on what you're doing and how you're doing
Kind
and
of
why you're
becoming a
doing it, because
spammer
they
if
can
you're
get
doing it every
tired.
day.
They can start seeing that as spam, causing issues for you. I would more answer questions and be helpful with things, and then post some kind of regular ad because people will get to know you from there.
Bam. Oh, I love this. Manuel got the water
Right,
tank. Hold on. 2 water tanks I took, sent to the person in charge about those tanks, asked me to bid them, and thanks for your help. Absolutely. Always happy to help a pro member out there. Guys asking about the commission. You know what I would do? I would ask the guys on there, because I know that one of those guys on there, I don't have any proof, but I'm pretty sure one of those guys is making some real shitty comments on my Facebook, and I interdict them. I would say simply on those guys, ask anybody you buy that course from, to look at something like this, a professional profit and loss statement on there, and see how much they've actually done on these classes, on the production wise, because you understand there's a whole lot of guys out here, and I'm not talking about anybody specifically, but there's a whole lot of guys out here who do Facebook for content that don't necessarily have businesses per se. There's a lot of guys who have part-time jobs and are doing a pressure washing thing part-time. They're awesome at building Facebook classes, but maybe not so awesome at running businesses.
Wash companies. So am I reading this comment wrong?
Yeah, it's one of this group of guys that are now doing another class out there.
Ah, gotcha. I thought he was asking about what do we think about paying commissions. Look, this is something I agree with.
100%, Luke.
Yeah. So I'm gonna point to this. A lot of times you find a dirty house and you're marketing to that dirty house. It's dirty for a reason. It's the clean houses. They want to keep themselves clean. If they've got a nice white car in the driveway and it's you see them outside physically washing it, that's your customer. You see them, they got a black car, they're outside washing it. Yep. That's your customer. You see a lawn that's been nicely edged and all that. That's your customer.
Bingo.
They can have a dirty house, okay, and they may not know any better. So look for the other signs, like I said, the edged lawns, the tire shine marks in the driveway. That's your customer.
Yeah, that's your customer. Absolutely.
People that care about what they look like.
Local community organizations, joining a BNI chapter. What are some old school ways to network and all those things,
Oh, absolutely.
And next door, I mean, it sounds like you're advertising a lot. And what you need to be doing instead of advertising a lot is marketing a lot. You need to be building relationships. You need to, the people that you've done work for, have a frank call with them and say, gosh, is there anybody you could refer me to? I am having a hard time gaining traction here. Is there something you could do? Or do you have any friends or neighbors or relatives that you think could use my service? Could I put a sign up in your yard for 2 weeks?
I'm going to tell you what.
People
actually like to help people. Okay,
yeah,
they really do. People, for the most part, like to help people as long as so. I think, like with what Ray's saying, you can go to your current client base and be open and honest and say, I'm having a hard time getting traction, just like Ray said. And is there part of my service that I could have done better that would get you to give me a referral or a recommendation? You'd be surprised how they say, I can get you a referral. I can give you a recommendation. I can call. Let me call this person and see if they're still wanting to have that service done. You see what I mean? Because sometimes it's you, sometimes it's your personality, sometimes it's just the fact that you haven't asked for the referral. You haven't asked for what did I do or what can I do?
Sometimes it's that you have a logo of Jesus holding a weed eater.
That's horrible. That's horrible. I'm sorry. That is horrible. Michael J. Yes. Well-maintained houses buy annual plans. You'd be surprised how many people buy annual plans. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to tell you what, I learned something once, and I've shared this before, but I was out looking for my dog once, and my wrap truck, I had my uniform on and all that. And I realized very quickly that I was out looking for I was legitimately looking for my dog, and it was helping me get business because, it's just people, driving slow through the neighborhood had a reason for it. And, this was, you could do that even in a gated neighborhood, all that kind of fun stuff. But anyhow, what you getting ready to load up, Ray Ray?
What's that?
Oh,
I'm sitting here. I mean, he's asking about what to do on that. Yeah, I got a couple of little things here. Let me see if I can. And let me share this. We're talking about getting business, and this is one. And I need to do this whole thing one night here. Just do this class. Social media, take advantage of it. 2, flyers, door hangers, great way to meet people. 3, website can be your silent salesperson. 4, wrap vehicles, they're always selling for you. 5, networking, find bird dogs. Get people out there who are raving fans of yours that are actively trying to send you business out there. Mm-hmm. 6, ask for business, get referrals.
Ask for business.
7, coaching, find a mentor. Lead services. I mean, that could be, I'm not a huge fan of the Angie's List or Angie's or whatever the hell it is now, or Thumbtack. And
I don't like them at all.
Yeah. I am not a big, I'm not a big fan, but some people have, I know there's people that have made bundles off of that. But I mean, from what I'm seeing, it sounds like you might be advertising a lot, but you're not necessarily marketing a lot. Luke just said, find a guy who doesn't pressure wash and pay him $100 to leave a flyer at a pool cage, and with his bills. Hell, go find a pool guy. Go find a pool cleaner and say, hey, could I partner with you out there? And could I, would you like to share some work, or I'll pay you per lead out there.
You can partner with virtually any business to help grow your business. That's what BNI is, right? BNI is really just a way to partner with other businesses. You don't, and I think BNIs can be a good thing, but I'm saying you don't have to do that. You can duplicate that or replicate that simply by doing it on your own, meeting with other businesses and swapping services or swapping leads, or hey, let's market together, let's advertise together, let's use each other to build our brands, that kind of a thing. It doesn't take much. I mean, one of the best things I did was my Like to Fish free giveaway. I partnered with a guy that had a boat and he had a little fishing charter thing. And so I said, if you like my page, you're entered into a free drawing for a fishing trip. I sold him on his house wash, his driveway, his this, his that. It was a $1,500 job. The day's outing, two single day outings for 2 people, right, was $750. So I got paid $750 for the cleaning. I got the 2 tickets for 2 different people to go out fishing, and we did a Like to Fish free giveaway. I got lots out of that. I mean, partner with other people. Like to Eat free giveaway. Like to throw hatchets free giveaway. Like to pick toenails, pick your brother's nose. I don't care.
So he does, JR, and I don't know if it's Junior or JR, but name is Jesus, and called Blue Jay Pressure Washing. You're 19, and I just started 4 months ago. Understand something, and this is one of the things that I really have a big issue with. Not issue. One of the things. Issue is the wrong way to say this. That you have to understand. I mean, you've been doing this for 4 months. Rome wasn't built in a day. I don't know how many you've done in 4 months. If you've done 25 houses or you've done, 50 houses in 4 months, maybe you've done 100. But if every one of your leads gave you another house, you're still, if you did 100 houses, you're still only at 200 houses, for a year or for the time in business. And it's called building a business, man. And it's going to take a little time and it just is going to, I mean, you're 19 years old. I tell you what, you're 19 years old. There's no reason you shouldn't be, cranking out about 14 hours a day on this. And because you've got just, I appreciate it. And I want to say something. Waterworks, I appreciate your enthusiasm for them, but I really appreciate your enthusiasm for the guys. But Doug and I are doing something here. If you want to advertise for the Inner Circle and Aaron and the commission and those guys, feel free to go do that elsewhere, but not here. Okay.
I've never even heard of that.
It's just not really kosher. Not really cool at all. So anyway, so JR, again, you just got to go take advantage of all of your take advantage of everything you can, and again, you're young, you can do 14, 16 hours a day on this. Don't get too selly with your stuff, and I'd also try to not do something that you're not,
Work on building relationships instead of advertising.
Exactly. Work it to your advantage. Work the youthfulness. Hey, I might not be the oldest guy in the world, but golly, I am young, and I promise you, I will work I will work circles around those old farts doing this. To those other guys, you're like one of 1,000 customers they have. To me, you're one of 50 that I have. Who do you think's going to get a better, service, one of 1,000 or one of 50? So you can really play that to your own advantage.
Yeah. And like I said before, I mean, it is something where people really do want to help other people. And so you can use that to your advantage. You can say, look, how many 19-year-olds do you know? How many 20-year-olds do you know? How many 21-year-olds do you know that are out here working hard and they're not, I'm not out playing video games. I'm asking you to allow me to work hard for you and do a great service for you, do a great job for you. Look, I'm wanting to learn, and I'm wanting to do the best job I can possibly do. I've trained this way, I've trained that way, I've invested in myself. And how many people of my age do you know that do that? I'm just asking for a little chance to show you what I can do. How many people of my age? Sure, give the driveway a try, that kind of a thing. Maybe there. Great. Let me do a demo for you, that kind of thing. I'm telling you what, you came up to my house at 19 years old, you're probably going to get some work. Just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hell, I'd find something, Yep. To do, to give a guy. Absolutely. I do.
Darla's going to kill me. I haven't checked the mail in a day or so, and Darla's going to kill me. Tell her I'm sorry.
What's that?
I'm saying, Darla, I haven't checked my mail in a couple of days. I've been busy, and Darla is going to kill me.
She'll be okay.
She'll be all right.
She'll be all right.
Well, tell her I'm sorry and I love her and all that kind of stuff. Ray, we're an hour and a half into this. I didn't realize.
We are, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's been a day full. Yeah. I love my Mondays. All right, so we're down to about 41 at this point. So you want to go ahead and start signing off. Hope, like I said, we'll sit here and get this, honed down. We'll get through all of this thing. Look, it does. It does. Yeah, there's my fishing analogy there. So we'll probably do this for the next couple of weeks or so. I know that we wanted to have little big dog from Jacksonville over on, and hold on, I got Tommy saying something. Mentored two young guys that reached out to me. I offer them advice all the time and help them on questions when they've run into problems. Teamwork is a big thing. Absolutely. You know, and that's something you should do, JR, is find you a good mentor in your area, or maybe the next big city over, or a larger town over. So
somebody that's willing to help.
Might absolutely help you a great deal there. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Doug, I think I'm going to end it, and
I'm ready.
Talk soon. Good Lord. All right, guys. Thank y'all very much. Appreciate
y'all. Thank you.